Hi students, welcome to first year commerce class. In our previous class we have discussed about differences between joint stock company and partnership firm, because these are very important to understand. As you are going to become the part of any such type of business, you may establish your own firm, or you may join a company as an employee, or you may start a partnership firm. You may start a sole proprietary concern, or somebody may ask you and advise what is so and so. So you should have perfect knowledge about each and every form of business organization. Just by going through the definitions, we will understand in a brief manner, but the detailed analysis can be done in a perfect manner. You can learn only when you compare the two things. You will get perfect 100% picture of two things or two forms of business units by going through their differences. Okay, and one important point is, you can draw the differences only when you know about those two things in a perfect manner. For example, you are given both an apple and a tomato. If you know already their taste and everything, already you have seen that, experienced its taste, then you will be able to differentiate. If you don't know what is apple and what is tomato, then you cannot differentiate. Here also we have gone through the features, merits and demerits of various forms of business organization. We have started with sole proprietorship, we have done with joint Hindu family, then we have learnt cooperative societies, we have learnt partnership firm, then we have learnt about joint stock company features, merits and demerits. Now we are trying to understand the differences between various forms of organization, so that we get a perfect idea about those forms of business organizations which will help you in future. So here, if you want to differentiate, the other day I told you, there may be so many points to differentiate two things. Like if you want to differentiate two persons, you may take height, you may take weight, you may take color, you may take income, you may take qualification. Okay, like that at various points you can differentiate two persons. Language, state, okay, country. Like that you can differentiate people based on so many points. Similarly here, private company, public company can be differentiated based on so many points. At what point you are differentiating is called as point of difference. Based on what factor you are differentiating. For example, you are taking two persons. Say I am taking these two markers. I am taking these two markers. I am saying that this is the blue marker and this is the red marker. This is blue marker, this is red marker. Now can you tell me what is the point of difference? Point of difference is color. So here I am differentiating these two markers based on color. Clear? Suppose if I compare these two things, okay, here I may be differentiating based on the size. This is tall, this is short. This is short, this is tall. Okay, this is how I am able to compare. So here I am taking the length, size as criteria. Previously I was differentiating based on color. Then I am differentiating based on size. Then I may be differentiating based on weight, based on cost. So say this is costly, 100 rupees. This is cheap, 20 rupees, like that I can differentiate. So for differentiating two things or two persons, we will have so many points. Okay. So, at what point based on which you are differentiating is called as point of difference. Okay. So, here first point of difference is minimum number of members. Minimum number of members. So, remember, to start a private company, minimum 2 members are required. One person cannot start a private company. Minimum 2 members are required to start a private company. For public company, minimum 7 members are required. Minimum 7 members are required. Got it? Then maximum number of members. For private company, maximum number of members are 50. Maximum number of members are 50. In a private company, you cannot have 51 members, 60 members, 70 members. No. 50 is the maximum limit. You can have 49, you can have 48, 40 members, 45, 32, 30, 15, 7, whatever it may be. But it should range between 2 and 50. The number of members should be between 2 and 50. That's it. Minimum 2, maximum 50. Clear? So, in case of public company, regarding maximum number of members, the Companies Act 2013 did not keep any limit. You can have any number of members. Public company, it can secure capital from any number of people from any part of the world. So, there is no limit, unlimited. So, minimum 7, maximum unlimited. So, the limit is between 7 and unlimited. You can have 1 lakh members, you can have 1000 members, you can have 1500 members, you can have 20,000 members, no problem. Companies Act 2013 did not keep any restriction with respect to maximum number of members. So, minimum 7, maximum no limit in case of public company. Then minimum paid up capital. What is paid up capital? Paid up capital is the amount paid by the shareholders to the joint stock company. Say for example, I have formed a company, I have established a company. I wanted to sell shares worth 10 crores or say 100 crores. I wanted 100 crores of capital. So 100 crores worth shares I have offered for sale. I have given the paper advertisement, TV advertisement or whatever the media may be. So I have given advertisement stating that some X Limited is offering shares worth 100 rupees. So please come and buy my shares, provide me capital. That is advertisement I have given. I wanted to take 100 crores of capital from the people, but due to various reasons, people might have paid only 70 crores. Only 70 crores. I wanted 100 crores, but people have purchased shares worth only 70 crores. Clear? So that is what called as paid up capital. Paid up capital means it is the amount paid by the shareholders to the joint stock company over a public issue. The other day I told you an example. A college may have 500 seats. It can provide education to 500 students in various groups of a junior college, CEC, MEC, MPC, BIPC together in English medium, Telugu medium, Urdu medium. In a combined manner, it has got 500 vacancies. So it has given advertisement, but only 300 students have joined the college. So that is what called as response from the people. You are willing to give many number of seats, more number of shares you would like to sell, but you got only less amount. So, the amount paid by the shareholders towards the share capital of a company is called as paid up capital. So, there is a limit regarding the minimum. Minimum you should secure that. Then only you can start your company activities. So, such minimum paid up capital for a private company is 1 lakh. For private company, minimum paid up capital is 1 lakh. For public company, minimum paid up capital is 5 lakhs. What do you mean by this? Means, if you do not have this much money, you cannot start your company. Minimum, this is the minimum amount required to start your company as private company. If you do not have minimum 5 lakhs as paid up capital, if you do not get at least 5 lakhs from the people, you cannot start public company. By issuing shares, if you cannot collect at least 5 lakhs, at least kam se kam 5 lakhs nahi laye to you cannot start, you cannot run your organization as a public company. Clear? Like for example, we have established a college. We can offer 500 admissions, but in all the courses, only 10 students are there. We have got CEC 2 students, MEC 1 student, BIPC 2 students, MPC 1. Can we run the college? No. We have to close. That means minimum we should have at least minimum 15-20 students per class. Similarly here, minimum capital we require for public company is 5 lakhs. Minimum capital we require is 5 lakhs. Here minimum capital we require is 1 lakh. Paid up means it is the amount to be paid by the shareholders. Next, identification. How to identify? Whether it is a private company or public company, how can we identify? How can we identify the companies? Based on its name. Say, a company may be X, Y, A, B, C, Tata, Reliance, Mahindra Satyam, Infosys, Wipro. So many companies are there. Every company has got name. But whether it is a private company or a public company, how do you know? Suppose if I say Reliance India Limited, is it a private limited company or public limited company? Star Sports Private Limited. So that word is there, private limited. So in order to identify the company as private or public, the companies have got some rules. If yours is a private company, the name of the company must be suffixed by private limited. At the end of your name, you should have these words. Private Limited, Rachana Entertainment Private Limited, Star India Private Limited. Okay, so when the words private limited are at the end of your name, Sri Medhavi Private Limited, so it is a private limited company. If the name of the company is ending with the word limited only limited, then it is a public company. Reliance India Limited, Tata Tea Limited, Procter and Gamble India Limited, Procter and Gamble India Limited. So you do not have the word private over there. You got only limited. Procter and Gamble India Limited, Reliance India Limited, Tata Tea Limited, Infosys Limited, Wipro Limited, LG India Limited. So when you got the word only limited, it is called public company. If you have the words private limited at the end, must suffix. Suffix means after the name. Prefix means before the name. Suffix means after the name. So after the name of your firm, your company, if you have got the words private limited, it is called as private company. If the word limited is there after the name of the company, then it is a public company. Then transfer of shares. Okay. After investing your money into a joint stock company, whether you are able to transfer your shares to others or not, that is called transfer of shares. Say for example, Mr. X has purchased shares in Reliance company. In Reliance India Limited, X has purchased 500 shares by paying 50,000 rupees. Okay, X has purchased 500 shares in Reliance India Limited and he has paid 50,000 rupees. Now, after some time, Mr. X would like to transfer them in the name of Y. And Y would like to transfer the shares in the name of Z. Z would like to transfer in the name of A. This is done without any restriction in case of public company. If it is, because it is Reliance India Limited, you can see here, Reliance India Limited, it is not private company, it is a public company. So, in case of public company, an individual, a shareholder, can transfer his shares to others without any restriction. You need not take anyone's permission. You need not go to government. You need not ask permission of the directors. You need not go for any resolution. You need not seek the permission of other shareholders. Ye aapki marji. So, X will sell the shares to Y, Y will sell to Z, Z will sell to A will go to any other extent. No restriction at all. So, the shares will be freely moving from one person to another person in case of public company. So, that is what I told, can freely transfer. But in case of private company, we cannot transfer freely. There are certain restrictions. For example, X has invested money in some private company. He would like to transfer the shares in the name of his son or his wife. It cannot be done, for which you have to take permission of directors and other legal formalities are there. So, in private company, shares cannot be transferred freely, easily, but in case of public company, you can transfer freely. How you can transfer? The other day I told you, we have got a market for shares called as stock exchange. You go to that place, you give your shares and get back your money. There will be stock brokers, so you hand over shares over there, you will get money back. Next, public issue of share capital. Public issue of share capital means requesting people to buy our shares. Public issue of share capital means giving advertisement in the newspapers and in television or whatever the media may be, and we are asking people to buy our shares and provide capital is called as public issue. Normally for things, commodities, we say it is sale, but in case of shares, we don't use the word sale of shares. Actually, we are selling, but we cannot use the word sale of shares. We have to name it as, or we have to term it as public issue. Public issue means we are giving shares to common people and taking their money, okay, for our investment purpose. To start our business organization, we require capital for construction of building, for purchasing machinery, to purchase land, to purchase material, we require capital. So, some amount we will invest, more amount we require from people. So, we give paper advertisement stating that we so and so company, X Limited, okay, is starting its operations in Hyderabad from so and so year. So, please come and buy our shares. So, when you ask people to invest their money into your company by purchasing your shares, it is called as public issue, means taking money from people. So, taking money from people to start your business organization is permitted if yours is a public company. If yours is a public company, you can give such ad and you can take money from the people. But in case of private company, it is not allowed. Only these members, whether they are 2 members or 50 members, in between 2 and 50 we got that limit now. Only those members have to provide the capital. You cannot take money from the general public. You cannot give paper advertisement stating that I am going to issue shares, please come and buy my shares. invest in our company. Private company, it is wrong. It is not permitted to take money from the people. But in case of public company, you can take money from people by issuing shares. Then the next one is commencement of business. Commencement means to start. Commence is to start. Shurwaat karna, starting. So, private company, immediately after its incorporation, what do you mean by incorporation? Registration. After submission of various documents like memorandum of association, articles of association and various other documents, after submission of those documents to registrar of companies and paying some required fees, your registration formality is completed. So as soon as your registration formalities are completed, private company can start its operations, means either production or distribution of goods. For the purpose for which your company has been established, you can start your activities. You need not wait for anyone's permission. Once you complete your registration, you got the name, some X Private Limited, Margadarshi Private Limited, Star Sports Private Limited, Rachana Entertainment Private Limited, whatever it may be. Once your registration is done, okay, you can start your activities. But in case of public company, even though your registration formalities are completed, you cannot start your activities. Then what you have to do? You have to approach registrar of companies. There will be one officer called registrar of companies. So you have to approach this person. This officer will be there. So registrar of companies, you should go and tell him that, sir, we have completed all our registration formalities. See, this is our registration number. So please give us a special certificate called as Certificate of Commencement of Business. Okay. Please issue us Certificate of Commencement of Business so that we can start our operations. Means business activities. Operation is not doctor doing scissors and knife. That is not the operation. Here, operations is the word I may be using again and again. Operations means business activities. I am not a doctor to conduct operation. Okay. So here, business operations means production, purchase of material, sale of material, appointment of employees. All these are called as business activities or say business operations. So, in order to start your business operations, in case of public company, you have to obtain a certificate called Certificate of Commencement of Business. Only after taking that certificate, you have to start your business activities. Then, Board of Directors. Who are the directors? Directors are the team leaders or say the captains of the company who will manage the business. Normally, in case of partnership firm or sole proprietary concern, the owners themselves manage the business. But in case of joint stock company, you see, there are so many members. In case of public company, there are unlimited members are there. These members are spread all over the world. So, owners cannot directly manage the business activities. So, what the shareholders will do? They will elect the board of directors. They will appoint board of directors. Okay. So, these directors will manage the company. Like for a college, all lecturers cannot manage the college. So, there will be a head called as principal to manage the college. So, these lecturers have to abide by the orders by principal. So, principal is the head. Similarly, there are so many shareholders in a joint stock company. These shareholders will elect board of directors. So, board means group of members. So, directors minimum for private company is 2, maximum there is no limit. In case of private company, with respect to board of directors, minimum 2, maximum no limits. In case of public company, minimum 3, maximum 20 directors. Regarding members, it is reverse. Private company has got 50 and public company there is no restriction. But regarding directors, private company has no limit, public company has got 20 directors limit. Then quorum. Quorum means minimum number of members to be present in a meeting to make the meeting valid. Okay. If it is only conducted with only one or two members, sometimes the meeting may be unofficial or say it becomes invalid. So to make the meeting official, in case of private company, minimum 2 members are required. In case of public company, minimum 5 members are required. So if you conduct a meeting with only one person, it is invalid in private company. If you conduct a meeting in public company with less than 5 members, it is invalid. That meeting will not have any authentication. Okay. Then legal control, that means the rules and regulations. What are the various documents are to be submitted, government formalities, obtaining license, paying fees, etc. So lot of rules and regulations. In case of private company, regulations are very less. Registration is there, but you can do it easily. But government is not going to trouble again and again. Once registration is completed, you can carry on your activities. But in case of public company, these regulations are very strict. Government will be involving again and again. Annually you have to submit your accounting statements. Okay, government will be seeking reports from you over a period of time. So it is not so easy to manage public company. Regulations are very strict and more.